Good afternoon, Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Tuesday, October the 15th. Cooler air heading our way. I'm always happy to report that. Well, today is the day that campaign finance reports start pouring into the Secretary of State's office and also national offices. And as usual, incumbents will report piles of money because people like to back incumbents who are likely to win again. But I took note of this. We got a campaign report this morning from Ben Gilmore. He's running for state senate in South Arkansas. He's one of two staff members for Tim Griffin, Lieutenant Governor, who are running for legislature. He has only two staff members. They're both running for legislature. Why not? There's not much work to be done in the Lieutenant Governor's office. Ben Gilmore, you might know, is the brother of John Gilmore, who's a former top aide to Asa Hutchinson, started his own lobbying firm, and still raises money for Asa Hutchinson in his campaign season. You can imagine that the big money might find its way to somebody with that kind of connection. Well, indeed it has. His news release emphasizes that some 68% of his contributors, that's the number of contributors, come from his Senate district. What he doesn't tell you is that he got about a third of his money from four contributors, a family member and three big fat corporate PACs. And some of them log roll money between each other. For example, he got a bunch of money from the Republican Leadership PAC. That's a dark money outfit that gets money flowed through it from Washington contributors. That PAC also gave money to a lobbying PAC, the Growth PAC, that's powered by financial interest and lobbyists in Arkansas. Some people give they give to the PACs, and then they give directly to Gilmore. One of those was a mowing company executive from Batesville. In any event, it's all interlocking. There are multiple ways that the same sources of money can give money to the candidate, both individually and through PACs. For example, Ben Gilmore's brother has a PAC at his company, which is financed by his company, which then gave money to his brother's PAC. Handy if you can get away with it. In any event, we're going to see a lot more of this. We can see the same thing. David Ray, the other Griffin employee, hadn't filed his report yet, but we already know from PAC reports that he's going to get a healthy sum of money, about $10,000, from two of the same big nationally or business-oriented PACs that are helping out his office mate, Ben Gilmore. You may remember that in 2014 we passed an ethics amendment engineered by John Woods, who now sits in a federal prison. It gave legislators longer time in office. It gave them triple the pay. It did nothing about eliminating the whining and dining of legislators, but they said, oh, not to worry, we've stopped corporate contributions to candidates. Well, as you can see, they're just flowing the money through PACs rather than directly to the candidate, and if anything, they can give more money to the PACs and direct it in ways that suit their interest even more so. Well, other topics today. A meeting yesterday, an ad hoc committee in Russellville recommended an Iowa casino operator to run a casino in Pope County if one ever gets approved. This doesn't really have much meaning because the county quorum court, which has the hammer legally on who'll get approval, has said they back a Cherokee application, and they're going to stick with it and not change their mind. The interesting wrinkle in this is that there's a Mississippi operator that, under the plain language of the constitutional amendment adopted in the last election, may actually have the edge on this because it got approval from the county judge who was in office last December when they got their approval letter. There are going to be multiple lawsuits on this. What's unseemly is the bidding to get the business. It's really a pay-for-play kind of thing. It may be legal, but it has a bad look about it. The Quapaws didn't put down any front money in a specific amount in Pine Bluff to get the Jefferson County Casino, and they're up and running, and the slot machines are jingling. Right now, they say the odds favor still the Cherokees, but there's a lot yet to be decided. Well, Little Rock had some bad news today. Wallet Hub put together a ranking of the cities in the country on 17 factors: economic growth, population growth, business startup, all manner of things. Arkansas's capital city, Little Rock, was way down the list. 459 out of 515 cities, and in the middle-sized city category, 230th out of 250, not so hot. We're at least better than Shreveport. Fayetteville, on the other hand, was at the top of the charts, both overall and in the small city category, up in the, I guess top 5% or less of the groups. Little Rock's got some room to maneuver. Well, we are getting a Trader Joe's in Little Rock. That sort of upscale, trendy grocery chain is going to open its store on Financial Center Parkway next Thursday morning, 9 to 9 at Trader Joe's. They got some pretty good cookies, they say. Speaking of Little Rock, the city board's meeting tonight, and they're going to consider expanding the noise ordinance to allow loud music downtown until midnight rather than 10:30 p.m. This is something requested by the Convention and Visitors Bureau, not perhaps by hotel residents and people who live in the high-rise condos that overlook the amphitheater. We'll see how that goes. Finally, big news happening in Washington. You can hardly keep up with it. Donald Trump, in the face of the disaster in Syria, is saying he never gave the green light to Turkey to invade and start slaughtering Kurds and having Russians move into former army bases and enjoying the U.S. accoutrements there. Well, unfortunately, he put out a very clear directive Sunday night that did just that, gave a green light to the Turks who, of course, do some business with him, which is high on his list, and he's friendly with Vladimir Putin, too. Finally, the light has been turned on in the Trump kitchen and the cockroaches are scurrying. More and more people are testifying as to how widely top Trump people, including John Bolton, remember him, were upset about the individual diplomacy work, let's call it, Rudy Giuliani was doing in Ukraine. They had serious concerns about it. This isn't just some Democratic put-up job. This is a real problem that really has strong implications for national security. The impeachment train is rolling, and maybe it'll get Mike Pence too. What do you say, Nancy Pelosi for president? That's something to resist for. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.